All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody that we have here on the call today. So this is sorry to go too fast through that. This is the webinar for Matrix Insider. So using the latest updates for continued success. I am your webinar leader, Vanessa Douthard. I'm an educational technology specialist here in the US region. I can see in the chat, it looks like we have a lot of people from a lot of different places. So we have Judy from Australia, we have some people from California. So I'm also calling from California. I'm up in Sacramento, Helen in Boston, perfect, John in Florida, great. It is good to have everybody here today. And I'm so excited to get to show you all of the new updates and features that we have for Matrix for those of you who are our existing clients, and also for those of you who may not know necessarily what Matrix is yet, welcome to everybody. So as I said, my name is Vanessa Douthard. I have a degree in a couple of things, but most recently learning technologies and design. So these updates are really exciting to me in a number of ways, and I am excited to share them with you. Before we get started with the bulk of the webinar, yes to Tracy, this training will be recorded. Hi to Hannah. It will be recorded and it will be shared on our platform. So if you can't stay for the whole thing, that's perfectly fine. You'll be able to leave and then see anything that you've missed, or to be able to go back and see the things that I'll be covering today. We also have a Q&A feature where you can type questions that you have about any of the things that I'll be covering today. We have a few panelists on the call as well who will be helping me answer those questions for you. And yeah, don't feel shy about posting any questions that might be helpful for you during this webinar. All right. So an overview of the agenda today, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. Mostly it's going to be the newest Matrix features. Some of them are a lot more robust and complex than others. Some of them are just, really small changes, but they matter in the grand scheme of things. Some of them are also connected to our integration. So things like advanced tagging, I'll talk to you and take you through, which has been a really exciting addition to our platform. But first, we're going to go ahead and start with the dashboard. And before I get to that, I'm just going to let you know that Q&A will happen at the end. So as I see the questions coming in, I do see them. I'm not ignoring you, but we're going to wait for the end. And we have panelists who will be answering some of those questions as I go through. So we will get to that. All right, so I am here in our NA region branded site. So this is our Matrix site that we use. So as you can see, or as some of you will know, when you land into the Matrix site, so when you log in, you will first come to this dashboard. So this dashboard is a new user dashboard. It was implemented for all accounts on January 19th. I think the system updated all of the accounts to the new user dashboard. And so this is what you'll see. You might be familiar with it already. We have three different sections here. So we have the right panel, we have the center panel, and we have the left panel. The left panel contains our main menu items. So this is where we are controlling our site from the dashboard as an administrator. We have our right panel where we have a bunch of different widgets that we can use to help us customize the way that we are communicating and the way that we are seeing things inside of our system. And we also have this center panel. So the center panel is really special because it has a lot of different widgets that give us that data, that information that we're looking for when we land into the dashboard and we're trying to figure out where we need to start for the day. So up here we have a welcome banner, which is customizable. So for the administrators who are on this call, you may already know that the way that you set up this dashboard is the way that others are going to see it, others within your organization, whether they're learners or teachers. So having this welcome dashboard, a lot of people like to use it, but everything here is fully customizable. So you don't need to have any of the features that you see here, and you can also add features that you don't see here. So for example, just scrolling down, we have a courses widget, which we will talk a little bit more about very, very soon. We have some widgets down here that talk about groups, news, catalog. If any of this looks interesting to you, that's great. Please, please use it. If any of it doesn't look interesting to you, what you can do is come up here into this edit widget icon, and this will give you the option to customize. So we have the right panel customizations and we have the center panel customizations, and they work very similarly. So if we go into the center panel customizations, what you'll see once it clicks is that this center panel will pop out, it will highlight, and you'll have this available widgets area over here, which will include any of the widgets that you are not already utilizing on your site. So if I am using Mastery inside of the platform, if I wanted to just come and drag and drop here, so then now whenever I come to my dashboard, whenever I log in, I can see that Mastery, right? Because everything is here for our convenience. Everything is here so we don't have to search around for anything. We have all that information in one spot. So you can really get very creative on how you're utilizing this to feed your data needs. So if we want to get rid of something, we can easily go back and press this little menu on the side and then press delete. Anything that we delete from the center panel and also from the right panel as well will come back into the available widgets for us to use at a later time, or for us to just completely ignore it and not use it all. So that's the new dashboard. Very, very exciting. It's definitely super customizable and super, super cool. The next thing that I want to talk about, actually, before I get to that, we're going to talk about this courses widget because it's very, very special. But before I get to that, one more customization that I really like to show our clients, which is a little bit newer, is that when you come back into this edit option, so editing the right panel or the center panel, moving these things around is just easy as clicking and dragging. So if I didn't want this welcome and I wanted my courses to be the first thing that I see at the top, then I could just move that to the top. Any of these smaller widgets down here can be ordered in the way that you need. Okay, so coming to this courses widget, we have a lot of changes that have happened here. In the courses widget, we have now scrolling. So coming to this side menu, we have all of these options. Some of them are not new, but some of them are new. I'm going to be taking you through those. The first one is this list view option. So as you can see, when I change to list view, I get a list of the courses that I'm teaching and the courses that I'm enrolled into. So this is going to change based on account type. So students will see the courses that they're enrolled in, the courses that they've completed. Teachers will see the courses that they're teaching and they're enrolled in. Administrators will be able to see a different set of options, but the teaching and enrolled are the ones that we're focusing on here because we have the new list feature enabled for this. This is really for client convenience, right? Because first, when we wanted to see certain information about the courses, like the scores, the to score, so this is telling us information as instructors about the things that we have left to score inside of this course. So I can come in first thing in the morning and I can see, oh, for testing purposes, I have 6 things that I need to score. I have 3 learners inside here. Nobody's completed and nobody's been deactivated. So it gives us a really, really quick sneak peek, a really quick visual into some of the information that is important to us. So if we don't like the list view, what we can easily do is come back into the menu, click the tile view, and it will show the tiles again with a little bit more limited information, right? So we have some numbers and some icons that represent some of that data that we saw a little bit earlier. However, one thing to keep in mind is that when you are looking at this courses widget, which everybody should be looking at the courses widget because it's a prime thing on the LMS. If you have more than 20 courses that you're teaching or more than 20 courses that you're enrolled to, you're actually not going to be able to have access to this tile view. The system is going to switch it to the list view, and that's the only view that you're going to be able to get. And it seems limiting, but it's actually for a good cause. So with this list view, it's much, much faster to load than with the tile views. So that's definitely with you in mind. So a couple of other things that are new are the templates link. So again, coming to this courses widget, on this side menu, we have the templates and we have the archived link. Before, what we would have to do is go into these courses, or we would have to go to courses, we would have to go to list, and then we'd be able to see the archives and the templates. We can still do that. We still have that option to do that, but it's a little more extra. It's a lot more extra steps to click through all of those buttons. Now we have the option to just access it right here. So if I'm, thinking of all of these things that are happening inside of the LMS in my head, especially if I'm an administrator, if I'm an instructor, and I suddenly want to see the templates or the archived, I can just quickly come into the side menu and click one of them. And it will take me right back to that spot. So here I can see all of the templates that I have going on inside of my system. And I can also see the archived courses, if any. So again, we are making these little changes that seem little and maybe a little bit insignificant, but I know for a lot of people, time is money and time should not be wasted. So having those options here now will definitely make it a lot more convenient for you to navigate through the platform and get to the information that you need a lot more quickly. So again, we have the list view for the courses widget, and we also have the link to the templates and to the archives. We also have the maximize, catalog, enroll, and add options here, which I think have been there for a while. So people will be pretty used to those ones. Yes, the devil is in the details. Absolutely. I totally agree, Hannah. Perfect. All right, so moving to the next update that we've had. Again, as Hannah says, devil is in the detail. So it's a smaller update, but it definitely makes a difference. So staying here on this dashboard, if you go over to the main menu, so remember, this is your main menu, it's your site-wide menu, and you hover over groups. So if you're utilizing groups in your organization, or if you're thinking about utilizing groups in your organization, which is just kind of like a space, not necessarily associated with a course, but we're just having a group where we can get together and share resources, talk about things. What you'll see is this little icon here in the corner, this crown. So this crown is an indicator that these are the groups that I am an administrator of, and they're not just groups that I'm a member of. So we started to get a lot of we started to see a lot of issues in that communication, right? So using icons to communicate what things are, and especially if you're a user who has different account types associated with your account, if you're a user that has an admin access, but you also have instructor access and you also have learner access, a lot of that information can get really mixed up. So we have implemented these crowns so you can see very easily what groups that you are in charge of, what groups that you are the administrator or moderator of. We also have an improvement to the organization pages. So organizations, some people make a lot of use out of organizations. This is our feature where you can create different types of departments or different delineations of your organization based on what you need. So here, just very quickly, in case some of you are not familiar with it, we have the default organization, which is our EdTech, our NA EdTech site. And inside of it, we have these different organizations that are under the umbrella of that NA EdTech. And so we're using the organizations feature to kind of split those into separate entities, which are still kind of under the same policies as the NA EdTech. So what we've done is, if we go into one of these organizations, I'll go into the Candy Lab. What you'll see when you click on this link is the information about the organization that you've established. And if you haven't looked into organizations and it sounds like something that might be sparking an idea for your specific use, I definitely recommend going to the help center or talking to somebody about how organizations might help you because they're a very handy tool. But what you'll see here is kind of like this informational page about the organization. So this is the one that's set up by the default organization. So we have the about, we have the notes, the portal, the administrators of the organization, and any of the account types that are associated with that organization. And the way that we had it in the past is that all of these menu items were actually present along the about, so the top of the about, and it was this really long list, and you had to kind of look at, there was a drop-down menu that you had to enable, and then there are more options. It's just not as user-friendly. So we've taken that list and we've put it off to the side so that you can see all of the options at once without having to click on another drop-down menu. And we've also put settings up into the admin. So now we have a lot more control over these organizations without having to go into the actual organization and configure things from there. So as the default organization, we can just come to the page and we can look at the things that are happening inside of that organization, and we can administer that organization from a higher level without needing to go inside, which again is very useful. All right, so far we've been talking about some changes that have been implemented for the dashboard and the dashboard widget. So this is kind of this organization's page that we're on is similar to a dashboard in a way for the organizations as we see them on the default. And then we also talked about these dashboard features here for the new dashboard that's been implemented in January. Now I want to talk a little bit about accounts management. So for those of you who are administrators and you're administering accounts on the platform, these updates might be very useful for you. I definitely find them very useful. The old way is that you would have to go into the individual courses, right? So if I wanted to manage accounts for website fundamentals, let's say I want to add learners or I want to remove learners, I would have to actually click into the course that I wanted to configure in that way. And then I would go to the learners, and then I would click add, and then I would click remove, and then I would click archive. There's a lot of different steps. So what we've done is, I'll start from the dashboard again. So going into the learner profile, right? Because as an admin, you're not necessarily just doing management from one course or from one place. You might be doing it based on students. So going to our users, we're going to go to learners. And here we're going to just pick a random learner. So I'm going to go to Jaden Adams. And what I'm going to see here is Jaden's profile. So every user will get a profile on Matrix, and that's where they'll be able to add information about themselves or have information added about themselves by other people. And this is information about Jaden that we as administrators or teachers can have access to if we need it. But the thing that we're talking about here is with this enrolled. So if we come over to enrolled, we can see everything that Jaden Adams is connected to in terms of courses, in terms of paths, and if applicable, compliance. So what we have done is we have taken those steps and consolidated them so that now if I want to control where Jaden is going in terms of what classes he's taking, I can come to his profile. Instead of going to the individual classes, I can click enroll, and I will have courses that I can put into, or I have courses that I can select from in order to put Jaden into those courses. Right now on this site, we don't have any published, and that's why you'll see that nothing is showing up when we have the enroll into courses action, but there will be a list here of the courses that we can enroll Jaden into. Which makes it so much easier when you're kind of targeting certain user accounts and not necessarily the courses. So we also have this for instructors. So if I am an administrator and I am having my instructors teach, but not necessarily create their courses, and I'm going to just go in and assign certain instructors to certain courses, what I can do is come into the enrolled. This is where I can enroll my teachers into certain courses that I want them to take. I can come into teaching, and I can also add them to courses that they're going to teach. And here we go. So this is an example of the course selection. So we'll have 8 matches found because this account is an instructor. We have more options than the last one, who is just a learner. So we can click the courses that we're interested in this person taking. We can press submit, and then that we'll get a notification here that they're being added to the courses. We'll see a notification here at the top that will tell us what we've just done, right? So that validation of the steps that we're taking. And then if we refresh the page, and anytime that we come back into this profile, we'll see that this person has been added to these courses without us having to go through all of those courses and then adding him individually. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Hannah. It's a great update. I definitely agree. Such a time saver. Okay, so one more thing that you'll notice is that with this class picker, we've actually added some information here. So it's kind of connected to our organization feature, which I talked about not too long ago. This stuff underneath the actual title of the course now includes the organization tab. So if you're utilizing organizations to break down any kind of structural hierarchy to your organization, you might have courses that are offered in some organizations that are not offered in others. And so this is a really good way of making sure that you have the correct class that you're assigning people to throughout different organizations without having to, again, go inside of those organizations and make sure that you're actually targeting the correct one. So we've added some data here that will help you to see what you're doing without having to take too many steps to do it. All right, so that's all for account management. Now I want to talk a little bit about the updates that we have recently for courses and assignments. So again, going into that information. If you're an administrator or if you're an instructor who has a lot of abilities to be able to administer the site in different ways, what you'll see is this very, very handy feature. I'm going to start back at the dashboard just so it's fresh. If we go into, let's say, courses, for example, and we go ahead and hit the list, what we had before is this, well, it was a little bit more simplified. So we have a little bit more information here. If we come to these two at the top, which are the ones that have been added, especially this deleted one, what we'll see is the information about what instructor has deleted this course, or what administrator, what account type has deleted this course, and when it was deleted. So this is super important, especially if you have a lot of courses and you have a lot of users and you require a really detailed system of information for accurate internal management, right? You don't want to be in a situation where something's gone and you don't know why, right? So we have this happening here where we can see who's responsible for this deletion, when it was deleted. So, if it was a mistake, then we know exactly who to go to, as well as with, so not with archived, but with the users, we also have that as well. So if we go into the list of users and we go to learners, and then we go to, oh, did I go to the wrong area? I might have. Okay, let me try that again. So we go to users, right, archived. So from the users tab on the main menu, going to archived, because this is going to be the list of our archived users. And so this one is really important because a lot of clients use this archive function to help with billing or to help with kind of consolidating the information, all of the accounts that are happening within the LMS, coming to this archived area, this is where the update is. So we have that archived by, so we know the person who archived this student, we know when they were archived, and we know the last visit of that student. So not a huge update in itself, but definitely very useful for those of you who are trying to keep track of the things that are happening on your LMS and who's doing what. Okay, so let's talk about class assignment and tags. So this is one that we've implemented by popular demand. It seems, I know I've heard a lot of people, I've seen a lot of clients who have been talking about tags. So if you don't know what tags are, tags is a feature that we have inside of Matrix that will allow you to group or categorize different elements within the system so that you can use those tags in the search area. You can come to the search bar and search for certain things based off of those tags. You can also use them to filter lists and also with personalization. So to define completion requirements for certain groups of learners or for certain instructors, for certain groups of any account type that is present inside of your system. So coming to the courses, what's going to happen is if we have a course, let's say Web Design Fundamentals, we will be able to add a tag. So this part is not new. Adding the tag. So we'll say that this course, it's a design course and it's web, right? Front end. So we have inserted 3 tags here. The part that is new is that if you were to make a copy of this course, so if you were to come to admin, copy, then those tags that you've implemented here over on the right panel of this course will be copied to the copy that you make. So we actually didn't have that offered previously, and it became this, big effort because a lot of people don't like to reinvent the wheel. They don't like to have to make a new course structure from something that's already existing. And tags was kind of trailing behind. So we've put those back with the rest of the things that get copied over. So now when we're creating courses and there are tags associated, when we copy that class or when we copy that assignment even, right, inside of our modules, those tags will come with the copy. Let's see, another thing that we've implemented, we have some terminology updates. So I'm going to stay here in Web Design Fundamentals inside of this course. And I'm going to go into one of the modules. So we've done some terminology updates related with visibility and locking. So this is associated with modules and sections inside of the module. So these here, if you're not familiar, are the modules, and then these content pages or assessments would be counted as the sections. So as you can see here, we have this new area called visibility and this new area called locking. First, we just had this option to show or hide. We've kind of just changed the terminology from show hide to visibility so that it's easier to understand when we're looking for certain things to do inside of our courses. And then the locking is located here so we can determine whether we want to lock or unlock this module by looking at these two. So these are the changes that we've made here. Adding a section. So we've made a change to adding the actual section. So let me go into a new module here. We're in the section, we're in the module Web Design Trends inside of the Web Design Fundamentals course. When we add a section, we're going to go ahead and click this button right here. And what used to happen is that a new kind of page would come up. It looked similar to this, but a new page would come up and it would show you all of the listings. And then you would pick the listing and then it would come back here after you configured that option that you wanted. But now we've kind of reimagined the way that this works. So when you click add section, you'll actually get this kind of pop out box that comes, and it's connected to the way that we do other things on the site as well. So if any of you are using personalizations and you're adding actions and you're adding gamification points, custom notifications, then this will look familiar. And so we're just kind of making that that interface consistent with the way that we're handling the interfaces on other parts of the website. So here you'll be able to click through whether you want content or assessment off of a box list instead of having this big page with a lot of different icons and information. So it's a consolidated view here. So we also have some updates to the lesson resource section, so the new section content options. So support for the lesson sections within a course used to be different for single resources. So if I were to add a section to this course and I wanted to put a video, I wanted to put a picture, I wanted to put a website into the section of the course that I want the learner to complete. The old way of doing it would be to click on a page, and then inside of this section, we'll just do a test real quick. Inside of this section, you would edit and you would use the HTML editor to put in that web resource that you wanted to have. You can still do it that way. So I know a lot of people like to have those extra steps because extra steps can kind of mean you have more space to kind of really think about what you're doing. But in lieu of this, so not using it that way, instead, what we can do, coming back to this module, is now when we add a section, we have this option for a web resource. So this is good for single resources, right? Like if you're uploading a single video or if you're uploading a single image or something that you want your users to use, utilizing this web resource is a little bit easier than going through all of those steps to put the web resource on a page and then have them go through that page. So you would put the URL of whatever you're using here, the description, you would save it to a specific library based on what you're utilizing inside of your specific organization. And then you would save it. I don't have a URL on hand, but if I did and I clicked save, it would come here as that resource, and I don't have to deal with the HTML box. So another thing that we have, which is really, really cool. I really love, well, I love all of the updates, but this one I really love. For the teachers, for the people who are actually doing the grading, who are dealing with the submissions, when you come to an assignment inside of a course, you'll have this new option. Let's see where to go. Da, 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 da. Where are my assignments? Okay, we'll do design trends. So you'll have this new area that says submission status. So this submission status page is really cool because it helps you to organize and orient yourself to the things that need to be done in terms of contacting students or managing students in any way that you might be doing within your organization. So when we click this submission status for the specific assignment that we're looking to know about, this box of learners will pop up. So these are the learners that are enrolled into this course, Web Design Fundamentals, and we can see the status of this assignment. So for the design trends essay, nobody has started it. And as a teacher, that doesn't make me happy. So what I might choose to do is go into this little box, click everyone, and send out a bulk message, right? Hey, where are you? Do your homework or something like that. For matrix clients, it's not usually, that serious. We're not monitoring our students in that way, but we can definitely, if we have compliance courses, for example, and we need somebody to draw their attention to an assignment that we have inside of an onboarding course, for example, you might want to come in here, see who started it, who's not started it, especially if it's very time sensitive, and just give a little nudge, a little reminder. Hey, Melody, you haven't done this yet and we need it by Friday. Can you please, get to it? So that's really, really cool. We also have, as you can see, there aren't a lot of learners inside of this course, but we do have clients who have courses that are full of many, 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 many learners. And so coming into this status page, yes, I agree, it is very cool. Coming into the status page, clicking this icon, so this search icon, you have the ability to filter out the types of learners or the status that you're specifically looking for. So right now it's blank. If I click on this filter option here, I'll be hit with this choice to choose a new filter. So when I click that, now I'm building out a filter that I can reuse later that will help me to find certain things. So maybe there's a person that I really, really want to keep tabs on, or I just want to come in and straight away be able to see all of the not started items, right? And we're talking about with big lists of users. So I can choose from the name or the status. So I'll say status contains not started, in progress, submitted, or graded. And let's say I want to come in and see all the graded ones. As you can see, when I clicked that, no learners will pop up because none of the learners have started it. I can also add another tag here. So if I wanted to filter out the students who have a status of graded and submitted as well, then I can do that. So I can add more than one. And I can also save this filter. So clicking on this floppy disk, I'm so happy that I still know what this icon stands for. Clicking on this floppy disk will give you the ability to save this filter. So this means whenever I come back into a submission status page and I don't want to fill in that filter information anymore, I can just go into, we'll do another one. So we can do multiple filters. Oh, it's not happening. Well, let's see if it saved it. Up here it is, status, in, submitted, or graded. So I can have multiple filters that I utilize for the submission status, and I can go in and save the ones that I use often, and then I can just click those instead of having to reconfigure them every single time I want to look. So it's very, very cool. Yay, perfect. Yeah. Oh yeah, or congratulations to those who have finished, definitely. Absolutely, that's a great idea, Hannah. All right. So now we're getting a little bit towards the end of our product update for today. And with the time that we have left, I want to talk about new updates to apps. So for those of you who might be familiar, and for those of you who might not be familiar, we have a ton of apps associated with the Matrix product. So going into admin, App Center, you'll be able to see a wide variety of all of the apps that we offer on the platform. I definitely recommend, if you've never seen this before, hop on to your Matrix account and go through it, explore, because there's a lot of really, really interesting stuff here. The thing that I want to draw your attention to, so there's two things. There has been an update to the e-commerce app. So the e-commerce and the API. So coming again to this App Center, searching with a capital E, because I learned this, it's not just a lowercase e, that's not going to work. Capital E and a dash, if you're interested in going over e-commerce, if it's something that you're not already using, definitely get in touch with your EdTech specialist or send questions in the chat. You would install it. And then the changes aren't necessarily with the e-commerce app. The changes are with the API connections that we have available for the e-commerce app. So in order to show you those, I'm actually going to go to our handy dandy Help Center. So the Help Center is amazing. I love the Help Center. And I'm going to search APIs. It's going to be this first one here. And the reason I'm showing you on the Help Center is because this update is associated with a list of fields that we've included for the API connection to the e-commerce. So coming down towards the end of this list, you'll see e-commerce. And this is where you'll be able to see the things that we've already had set for quite a while. But the order info has some new fields that we've added. And the item info also has some new fields that we've added as well. So the new fields, when you're configuring how the APIs are communicating with the e-commerce, how, if you're using APIs to kind of push information to an outside source, we have more fields that will help you kind of be able to get the information that you need. So more fields, like I think organization ID is one of them, organization name. So you can name the organization associated with the purchase of the item. There's a couple of new ones here. So definitely if e-commerce is something that you've been utilizing, go check this out, because you might be able to further expand the way that you're using e-commerce on Matrix already. So again, that was in the Help Center. We searched API, and then we came all the way down to, oh, that's a long scroll. We came all the way down to e-commerce, and then we'll see a list of those fields, including the new ones. Okay, so we're back at the App Center. We have one more update to go, and this one I've saved for last. It's the best for last, because we have a lot of, so we understand the need for using tags on Matrix, and we understand that a lot of Matrix clients do utilize the tags, but that in the past it's been a little bit more limited than a lot of the Matrix clients would like for it to be. So what we've done is we have kind of expanded that use for tags. If you'll remember, the tags are these groups that you can make. You can categorize different elements within the system, and then you can use those in searches and filters, and in order to do the things that you need to do on your site. But what we've done is we've created a new app called Advanced Tagging. So we still have the basic tagging. And if you're using tagging, or if you've already utilized tagging, none of that is changing. We're just adding to it. So with the advanced tagging, you're going to come into the App Center and install it first. So you'll go here, and there's a help area here. So if you need any extra guidance on how to use the advanced tagging, you can go ahead and choose this help option, and it will take you to the Help Center and give you a little bit more help. So you'll install the advanced tagging. And what this does is it helps us to enable certain features that happen when we go into the tagging selection on the admin panel. So from the dashboard, we're going to go to admin, and then we're going to come to tagging. So as you can see, we already have some categories here. We'll definitely go through those and explore what these categories mean in relation to tagging. And we have this add tag group. So I think that's a really good way to explain what this advanced tagging feature is a group. So instead of putting, as we saw earlier when I was looking at that website, that web design course, let me go there really quick, web design fundamentals, and we can add tags here. So individual tags, it's design. We'll do that. And so if we wanted to come into the search and search for anything associated with this tag design, we can do that. But with the advanced tagging, let me go back there. Now we're talking about groups. So I'm going to click into Lexile level. Let's go to Lexile level. So let's look at the details. With advanced tagging, we're able to create those groups of tags. I don't know what any of this means. So let me go back to challenge questions and see if we have better luck. Okay, challenge, big challenge, maximum challenge, minimum challenge, right? We can add tags to here. I'll actually add one. So we'll do minimum. And what this is a way for us to categorize certain things within a group. So I've added that one tag. And the associated items we can have with these tags are as follows. So we can create an associated item that's a course, a user, a resource, a question, or an organization. So right now we're on challenge questions. So we're going to rightfully associate these sets of tags with the question type. And what this means is when we go into the course, when we're making a quiz, when we're making something that has questions attached to it, let me go to my quiz. Where did my quiz go? Oh, well, it's a survey. Okay, quiz test 1, perfect. So we're gonna go into our quiz. We can't put a quiz out unless it has questions. So we'll go into the questions. We'll add a question. We'll say it's true, false, or multiple choice, whatever question type that you need. And you'll notice that when we scroll down, we have this option for challenge questions. So now we can come into these questions and we can say, this specific question is a big challenge question. This specific question is a minimum challenge question, right? So we're kind of qualifying what these elements are in terms of how we would explain them, how we would group them. You can also do it in terms of courses, right? This is a beginner course, intermediate course, advanced course, right? And so when you're coming into, let's actually configure that. Let's do that. So going into tagging, we'll add a tag group and we'll do it for courses. So we're going to say course level. And we're going to say beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Perfect. Okay, so these are the tags that we're going to be able to choose from. We'll go ahead and save that. When we do that, we have to come in and associate that with an object type, right? So we're going to say that this tag group is only going to be usable for courses. And then if we check this box for required, it's going to mean every time we create a course, it's going to ask us to choose from one of those 3 options. Is this a beginner course? Is this an intermediate course? Is this an advanced course? And we're not going to be able to create that course unless we have put that tag in there. So I'm going to go ahead and do required, and I'm going to save. And here we see it's here. I can choose to put another type of associated tag here, or I can choose to edit the tags. Maybe I'll take away advanced and call it something else. But if I go into the web design fundamentals, down here under the tag that the singular tag that we just put just a while ago, we'll be able to tag this as a beginner course, an intermediate course, or an advanced course. And these are really, really cool because it's fully customizable, right? Matrix isn't telling you you need to be able to tag your courses as beginner, intermediate, or advanced. You are able to choose that language that best fits your organization, and you're able to choose what you associate as a group and whether you're associating things as a group at all, or you can just use these singular tags. So both of these are available, and I think it's really cool. All right, so that's the end. Again, there are a lot of updates and there are more to come. We're definitely going to continue with this series of introducing product updates that will help to make your lives easier. So again, some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller, but they're all implemented in reaction to what you need. So we definitely want to make things easier on you. We want to make things more useful within the system. So if you have any questions, now is the time. Let me go back to my my slideshow. Now is the time for Q&A. So if you have any questions about anything, if you have any comments about anything, I see a lot of things happening inside of the chat. Perfect. Okay, Erica left. Cool. All right. So I'm not seeing any questions. Let me check the chat. There's nothing here. Thank you so much. Oh, great. Thank you so much, Hannah. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Hannah's staying. Okay, one new one. This is for the future forum archive option. Ooh, that's really interesting. Yeah, so definitely if you don't already know, one of the things, and I'll definitely make a note of that, is coming to the help center inside of your system. We have a suggestions area. So all of these product updates that I've introduced to you today have come from this suggestions area. So this is an area where you can come as a client. And if you have any great ideas like the one that you just mentioned, you can put it here. And then eventually we get to them and we implement them and we work with them to make them usable for our learners. So that's a great one. Yeah, I think I'm missing some. So I have a question. Is there training we can put new team members on in Matrix? Is there training we can put new team members on in Matrix? So we're working on, so again, I'm gonna lead you to the help center. We have some established things that you can use to help orient new users, orient new employees to the Matrix site. If you're using it inside of your organization and you get a new employee who doesn't know how to do it, we have some how-to videos. We also have some getting started guides that you have access to. And if you, by chance, can't find any of these things on your help center, definitely contact us. So your ACE representative or your ed tech, definitely contact them, and we will be happy to supply you with any of the documentation that you see here that you need. The new tagging, yes, Rayaf, love the new tagging function, perfect. Yeah, me too, that tagging thing is so useful. Okay. So I'm keeping an eye on the chat for those of you who need to go. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope that anything that was put here that in terms of bigger updates was able to spark some ideas for you. I hope that you were able to learn a little bit, and that these updates will make your life a lot easier, because that's what it's all about. You need a much easier life as administrators and as instructors. Perfect. Yes, thank you. Awesome. Yay. Yes, perfect. Great. Okay, so we'll stick around. I also have the panelists on. I'll be here as well. We'll stick around for a little while longer, and we'll be here to answer any questions that you might have lingering. Hi, Lori. Lori, perfect. Okay, this looks like it's on assignments that are team-based. Oh, that's interesting. So I don't have anything that's team-based. Let's see if I could quickly configure that. So go into courses, we'll do design. Give me a moment, Jamila. I'm gonna see what I can do for you. So we'll add an assessment. We'll say it's team. We'll do test. Save. And so we're going to, let's see, do I have a team? Text team. This is a really good question because I haven't done that yet. So we'll select some members. We'll do these three. We'll submit. And then, so we have this team established. Let's go ahead and look at submissions. Okay, so it looks like it does do it just based off of the individual learners. So not necessarily the team together. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, sure. No worries. I would assume, and I'll check this, and Jamila, if you wanted to contact me later, that once the team assignment has been submitted, then you can, then it would be updated for all of the people within the team. But I'll check on that. And if you wanted to check back with me, I'd be happy to give you the answer. Perfect. Okay. Let's see, still no questions. My chat left. Currently only one submission shows up for teams, and the teammates can't see that submission. Oh, interesting. Okay, let me copy that, Jamila, and I'll take note of that. Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. So let me go back to the last slide. I know there's only a couple people left, but thank you for attending. If you need me, you can reach me at Cypher Learning or any of the ed techs that are associated with your region, and we'd be happy to help.